Hello there monsters and men, ladies and people, and welcome to Recharging. Standing right here is a car that is different and that is actually the luxury brother or sister of the Peugeot 208, 2008 and Opel or Vauxhall, depending on where you live, Corsa E. This is the DS3 Crossback E-Tense. So let's start with the looks of this car. At first I didn't really like the looks of the front of the car, but it actually grew on me, and right now I do think it looks kind of good and it is kind of pretty, and again it's different and you do have something special if you own this car, and I think people will look at it. What else? Well, this car is full of diamonds. And no, of course not real diamonds, because well, that would make it a little bit expensive. No, the diamond shape, it's actually here in the grille. If you move over to the side, the diamond shape is actually in the headlights, so that's a really nice detail. There is this wrap on the mirrors and also on the roof where there's just little diamond shapes in there. If you move over here to the side, you will see this shark fin, which is actually a reference to the original DS3, the Citroen version, so that is actually kind of nice detail. If you move here closer to the back, that looks a little bit more normal. It does look kind of nice though. You do have this, it's not aluminum, it's actually plastic strip that goes all the way over the back. If we open up the boot opening is here under the bumper, so if your car is dirty, your hands will get dirty, so take some cleaning with you. But if we open the boot, you will see a boot with a space of 350 liters. Unfortunately, there's no false floor. And there's no compartment to store your charge cables, so they are just lying around in there like these ones are right now. So what if we lower the back seats, then you will actually see a boot space of 1050 liters. But because there is no false floor, you will actually get a hump there and you don't have a flat floor to store your items. I almost forgot the most important test of them all. Does this boot fit a human? I think it will. So let's go all the way in here. Can we close it? Yeah, very easy. What is a nice feature of the car though is the proximity key. You walk to the car detects that the key is close by and the car will unlock. When the car unlocks, you will have this nice door handles that will pop out. Then we can open the door. The doors do extend all the way down, so that means they will cover this part, as you can see right here. So that means getting in and out, you won't get a dirty pants. The back doors though are a little bit small, so that means getting in and out is a little bit awkward. You will hit this part of the car, as I will demonstrate right now. So what about the back seats? Well, the seat in front of me is in my typical driving position and I am 1 meter and 85 centimeters and I do have knee room left. I also have plenty of headroom left, and that is because, well, you sit quite low in the car. So what about quality? Well, the quality is what you expect. So the materials are hard, but they are not from any scratchy kind, so they're actually quite nice. This demo car has the light interior, so you actually have this nice little leather over here, which gives it more of a luxury feeling. So what about if you want to sit here with 3 persons? Well, the back seats is quite narrow and there is this hump in the floor, so sitting here with 3 persons will not be comfortable. There are no separate air vents and there are no cup holders, or there's no armrest here. There are cup holders in the door, but there's no armrest with included cup holders. And also, well, in this car, form goes over function most of the time. So that means the shark fin does look nice from the outside, but that makes those rear windows very small and they are blinded. And normally when you have all the windows up and the door closed, it is pretty dark in here. Shine bright like a diamond, fine lines in a beautiful sea. No, don't worry, I'm not going to sing for you, but here in the front is actually the best example of the diamond shape. I mean, it's literally everywhere. It's here in the stitching of the dash, it's here in the buttons in the center console, it's here in your steering wheel, it's in the air vents, it's in the speakers over here, even in the tiny buttons up here. It's literally everywhere. And also here in the front is the best example where form goes over function. And why is that? Well, let's first start with the form. I mean, come on, look at it. It is unique. I find it very gorgeous, especially in this white. It gives it a very chic feeling. I think if you order it in black, it's more sporty, but especially in this white trim, it looks very, very good. And also the quality, the use of the materials, everything, it's just great. I mean, soft touch here, up here. Of course, if you get down here, it gets a little bit more scratchy, but still it feels rock solid. The switches up here are nice. It's just all very good. Even the employee of DS told me like, oh yeah, I can't remember it exactly, I'm sorry. But that, for example, the leather on the steering wheel, I don't know if it was the steering wheel or the door, but the leather up here is from some kind of leather that they also use in some kind of fancy watches. So it is really good up here. I do really like it. But again, form goes over function. Let me give an example of that, or a few examples. For example, the door. I mean, not the door itself, but well, also the door itself, because well, you have the door is actually divided into two segments, a higher part and a lower part, and actually your door, where you grab the door, is up here. But because it's pretty high, before I got into the car, the first few times, I actually closed the door by getting hold of the cubby space. I mean, that's not really meant for it. Also, the adjustments of the windows going up and down, it's actually here in the center console. It's not at your door where you expect it. And also, I stepped into the car and I was like, but how do I adjust my mirrors? Because they're not right. But I was searching and searching and searching. It's actually hidden down here. It's hidden down here behind the steering wheel. That's not logical at all. Again, it looks gorgeous, but function goes over form. So what about cubby spaces then? Well, it is okay. You got door pockets which are not too big, but do fit a large bottle and also act like a door handle. You got two cup holders here in the center console. You got a little cubby under your armrest up here. And actually the glove box is really deep. You can properly fit some items in there. So what about the climate control and the infotainment system? Well, for the climate control, you always have to go into the screen to adjust your temperature. You do have shortcut buttons here, but overall it is not the most user-friendly system in the world. It is responsive though, but you really have to search through menus to find stuff, and there's just some things here and there that are a little bit annoying. For example, you do have support for Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, which is always great. But when my phone is connected and I have Android Auto up here and I do something else, I have to go to the climate section to adjust, I don't know, maybe the temperature. Then I want to go back to Android Auto. Then I press this button up here, which gets you to your connected apps. But it does not detect that my telephone is connected, so I go directly to Android Auto. No, you first have to press here, then have to press Android Auto on the screen. It's just all those little things, and you really have to search through menus sometimes. Again, it's not the most user-friendly system in the world. Again, it does look gorgeous here though, but yeah, form goes over function. And what about the things in front of the driver? Well, the steering wheel is adjustable horizontally and vertically, so that is good. The seats are comfortable and give enough support, and it's actually not difficult to find a good driving position in this car. You do sit actually quite low in the car, even though you can raise up the seat, you still sit quite low. You do have a digital display in front of you. You can personalize it a little, but not too much, so you only have space for one thing. So do I want my trip in there? Do I want my media in there? Do I want my navigation in there? It does look good actually, but it's an okay system. Again, not too great and not bad either. What is bad though, in my opinion, is that nowhere in the car I can actually find the exact percentage of state of charge. Personally, I like that. Maybe that's just me and you'll probably get used to it, but right now it's around 55-60%. But I don't know for sure. I want to see an exact number somewhere. What you also cannot do is set the charge limit. So you cannot say, well, I only want to charge my car to 80% because, well, I don't need the range right now. and that will actually save the condition of your battery. But again, you cannot do that anywhere. But overall, this is not a car where you just get in and drive away. No, that is not it. But all the frustration you might have from the interior, from finding all the functions, all goes away as soon as you drive this car. Because man, this car redefines French comfort for this class. I mean, the suspension is really comfortable. You really glide over the roads. It's good over speed bumps. It's good at potholes. Also, the quietness in here, I was really surprised by the quietness of this car. I mean, it is quieter in here than a Tesla Model 3, and I think it can even match or comes close to a Jaguar I-Pace in terms of quietness. And keep in mind, that car is almost twice as expensive as this one, so that's really, really impressive. What about the steering though? Well, there's not a lot of feeling to it. You don't really know what is happening at the wheels. It's also pretty light. It really adds to the comfort of this car. But no worry, it doesn't get unsafe. This car has plenty of grip, but don't expect a fun steering car. So what about the drivetrain of this car? Well, this car has a 136 horsepower engine. With that, it will do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in about 9 seconds, and it has a top speed of 150 kilometers an hour. So it's not really a fast car. You don't have that explosive acceleration that you have in other EVs. But it actually fits the comfortable nature of this car. And of course, it is quick enough. To get that 0 to 100 time in 9 seconds though, you actually have to put the car in sports mode. So this car has 3 drive modes: Eco, Normal / Comfort, or Sport mode. And you don't actually get all the horsepower when you are in Comfort mode, and in Eco you get even less. So you only get those 136 horsepower when you are in Sports mode. But of course the consumption is more when you drive in Sports mode. Speaking about consumption, this car has a 50 kilowatt hour battery pack, and with that battery pack it can do a real world range. Well, I have driven this car on the highway. I did around 110 kilometers an hour, and I did in Comfort mode, and I did get a range of about 250 kilometers. So that is not that much. I mean, my Hyundai Kona on the same pace can, with this kind of weather, it can do 400 kilometers. So this car is pretty thirsty. So when you put the car in sports mode, or you drive quicker than 110 kilometers an hour, expect less than those 250 kilometers. If you drive more in town, expect a little bit more, maybe 280. If you drive really carefully, maybe close to 300. But again, this car is pretty thirsty, and it doesn't have it's not the car with the most range in its class. So what about all the safety and driving assistant features then? Well, being a luxury and modern car, you can get everything that is out there. Some things are optional. For example, this demo car doesn't have the adaptive cruise control, but it is available. So you have lane keeping assist, you have blind spot monitoring, there is front collision warning, it will actually brake when it detects that you're going to hit something. It has adaptive cruise control, it will keep you in the lane, it will steer with you through corners on the highway. So it has all of that. As I said, this demo car does not have all those things, so I don't know how well they work, but it is all available. So what about the electric driving features then? Well, this car doesn't really have much to it. I mean, in normal driving mode, the car will actually let you roll as soon as you lift your foot off the accelerator. There's also another mode on the gearbox that is brake, so it will regen more as soon as you take your foot off the accelerator, but you cannot do one pedal driving in this car. And besides of that regen mode, there's no way you can influence how much the car will regen as soon as you lift your foot off the accelerator. So you have driven 250 kilometers in a very comfortable way, and it's time to charge. Well, by default, this car comes with a single phase AC charger. So that means on 16 amps you will get 3.2 kilowatts, and on 32 amps 7.2 kilowatts. But optionally, and in some countries like the Netherlands, by default you can get this car with a 3-phase charger. So that means it will charge with 11 kilowatts, and then the 50 kilowatt hour battery pack is actually full, in 4.5 hours, so that is not that bad. What about DC then? Well, this car can charge up to 100 kilowatts, but it only does that to about 20%, and after that it will already throttle down, so that is a little bit of a downside. But if you want to see a full DC charging session of this car, click right here and there you see my charging session on an Ionity charger of this car, and then you can actually see the full charge curve. So what do I think of the DS3 Crossback E-Tense? Well, this is a car where form goes over function, and because of that it has some flaws, and also the 250 kilometers of range is not more than acceptable. But if you drive this car, you do drive something unique, you do drive something that stands out, and you do it in the most comfortable way you can do it in this segment. So if you liked this video, please give a like and subscribe. If you did not, please leave a comment below to see what I can improve. And then I would like to say now, as always, thank you a lot for watching, and to be continued.